Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to make a band circlet. Now in order to make that, we have some silver flat wire. I've got it cut to, I'm not sure what the length is, but I've got it cut so it fits around the head of my model head here. So here we go, and let's pull her back some. And then I've got the little gap in the back. Looks like it's about ½ inch probably. And that's so the hardware can go on there. So let's measure it and see how big it is, because I need to know that anyway, so we might as well find out. So starting at the one end and taking my tape measure and going around till we meet the other side, we're at not quite 19.5. So to make 19.5, we need, let's see, not quite 10 inches. So 9.5 and 9.5 is 19, so we need just a touch more than 9.5 to get to the middle, and we do need to get to the middle. So let's go to 9.5 and then add an 1/8, and that would be our middle point. So then I'm going to take a Sharpie and put a dot where that little spot is at. Like so. See, I've got the dot here on the silver. So that's the middle point. And what I need to do is we need to cut, we're going to punch holes in either side, cut them so they're a little more rounded, and then we'll add things to it. Let's turn down. Now these are the pieces I need to make this. We have some chain. It goes in the back. It's extender chain so that we have enough room for a larger and smaller heads. We have a lobster claw. We have some jump rings. One jump ring is to put the lobster claw on, one is to put the chain on, and the other one is going to put this little pretty on the end of our chain. And we can do that at any time. In fact, we can do it right now so we don't have to worry about it getting lost. So we'll just open this bigger jump ring up and go to the end of our chain, and then go through our spacer here. There we go. Oops, it fell back off. We don't want that. Then we have to close her up. Now this is going to be a little tricky because our little points are going to try and get in the way. Actually, it didn't give me any problem whatsoever. So now we have our little pretty at the bottom of our chain. So that's definitely the end on that end. And then these will go next. Then this is our pretty for the middle of our circlet, and then we have some crystals. This little one is going to go right here on this, and then we'll have big and small down the sides, because I like a few crystals on the sides to give it a little bit more oomph. So that's what it's going to look like in the front here. Now this black spot we put on our silver is where our piece is going to sit, like so. So this is our main portion, of course. So let's push these a little bit aside. We don't want to lose our crystals, so we'll put those up there. But what we want to do now is we're going to take our band, and I'm going to get my metal cutters, And we're going to open these up, and hopefully I won't pinch myself when I'm doing this because I have before. And we're going to take this spot right here on the end and we're going to cut the corners off. Just carefully just get in and cut a little bit off of each corner. And then we'll do the same on this other side. So one here. And then over here. Be careful with these shears. You don't want to get them near your hands or your fingers when you're cutting because, well, they'll cut metal quite easily. So, of course, they would cut your hands. So that we won't need that anymore. So the next thing we're going to need is we're going to take our hole punch, and we want the smaller side. Though the bigger side would be fine too, but I'm pretty sure the smaller is better because we don't want too huge of a hole. So we're just going to put our end in there. I'm going to tighten it down some, not enough to make the hole, but to see if we're pretty much in the center. That's good enough. So we're going to start now. We'll tighten it down and punch our hole in it. Now it has gone through, but it's probably going to try and hold it because it does with the heavier metal. And oh, actually it didn't. It came loose pretty good. So there's our hole in our metal here. Now we need to do the same thing on the other side. So we'll bring this down quite a bit further again so that we can just slide this into here. Too far down. Go up. Now we want to slide in here again. Try and find the middle as best you can. I think I'm off to one side quite a bit there. That looks pretty good. So now that we've got that, we'll tighten this down again and punch the hole in this side. Now we're done with this. We can put it away. So what we need now is our file. Now these pieces where we've cut it is pretty sharp, so we want to file those so we can get those a little more, well, not so sharp. Now, in case you're wondering, this has a copper base. You can see it as I file it some and as in the cuts, but it's okay. I hope I got that so people could see what I was doing. Okay. This one still feels a teeny bit rough on this side, so we will give it just a little more. Now that we're done with that, our next step is we're going to put our chain and our lobster claw on. And that's simple. That's just like any piece that you're putting something on. We're just gonna open our jump rings here and put our lobster claw on one side. Now my wire's trying to grab things over here on the other side, so if it brings something over, well, Now, that didn't quite close all the way. You can see there's a gap here. So since there's a gap, I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to go on either side, and I'm going to wiggle it forward with just a little bit of forward pressure till I hear them scrape together. So there we go. That one has scraped now, so the lobster claw is on. Now we'll go to the other side. And we're going to put on our chain. Now this is pretty thick chain, so we have to be careful putting it on to make sure that it'll go on all right. Okay, you turn so that I can get you. There we go. Now we'll close this side up. Oop, come on, no snapping. There it goes. So there is the band all finished. And we can hook this up here. Now, I put the extra chain on there because not everybody has the same size of head. And that's on there a little wonky. Because, well, you know, we don't. Some people have smaller heads, some people have larger heads. So I have put this on here so that it can fit onto our head quite nicely. But it's going to be see how it fits quite nicely back here. Though actually the lobster claw is pushing to this side some, which is fine, but it still fits good. And then you have all this inching if you have all these inches of chain, and if you need more room here. So there we go. Now there is our little black spot. This is where we're going to put our pink jewel, our big pink jewel. And I had considered just cutting off this bell because this is a pendant piece. But then I decided it would work fine just putting another jewel in that spot. So we need to pull this off. And then we need to get some E6000, and we're going to glue this right here. And then it's got to sit for a while it dries some, so that you don't have to worry about it coming undone. Though I have been told a couple of tricks to make your E6000 dry faster, and that is to put a little super glue on there as well. So we may do that so that at least in this spot, so that our base piece dries faster, so that we can put other things in faster as well. So I have some Loctite right here beside me. I'm not sure which has got more in it, because I've got two bottles up here. So let's see, and we'll see if this one comes out relatively easily. If it does, then we will put just a drop of super glue here. Oh, there it is right there. So there's a little super glue. And now we got to get our E6000 out and E6000 it. So we'll get the E6000 out. And I have a choice. I can put the E6000 on the back of our jewel, or we can put it right on the band. I think I'm going to put it on the jewel. It should be about right there. We'll close this baby up, or at least most of the way. And then we're going to take our jewel and put it down on the band right where we have our glue at, as well as where the super glue's at. So as you can see, I've got E6000 coming out there, and that's fine. It'll keep it, it'll keep it in place better once it decides it wants to. I think I just got a little glue on the top of the jewel, so I'm going to have to let it dry a little bit and then see if I can rub it off. But there we go, we got the jewel on, and now it's got to dry for a while before we can do anything else. So I'm going to just have to hold it here, and I will let you guys go while I do this. And we'll be back in just a moment. See how pretty that is? Right, we've waited for a while, so I think it's still a little wiggly, but not bad. Now I want to try and get some of this excess glue that's on the side off. If you wait for a while, but not until it's entirely set, you can usually get the extra off. So I'm just scraping it with my thumbnail, pushing it to where I want it to be at. And if I can hide it under the stone, I may just leave it without trying to pull any off. Because sometimes when you try to pull some off, you pull off too much, and you end up having to then re-glue it. So, see what we can get done here. This needs to go under here just a little bit more if we're going to leave it, though. Same with this side. As you can see, there's a glop of glue right here, and that's because it didn't sit down and it wanted to slide around, so it moved the glue around on the bar. Now, if you don't have thumbnails and can push this like this, I would advise, I don't know, something harder than maybe if you have like a spatula or something that you can go but not scrape the metal. There's also a little bit here I got on this stone with my fingers, so I'm going to try and get that off. Now this I may need to get the tweezers for. If I could get hold of that little piece, it would be great. But we don't want to scratch the stone. So. Baby. There we go. Got that off. And those are tucked under enough that I'm not worried about them too much. You can see them, but not so much that they're a big deal. So now what we want to do is we need to put a touch of E6000 on the loop there so that the smaller one can go. And we need to decide how far down we want the other crystals to sit. I'm thinking not far. Whoop. Maybe 1.5 inches. No, that's too far. 1 inch is too close. I'm going to go with 1.25 inches. So we want to go either side 1.25 inches. Make a teeny mark. You don't want a very big one because remember, you're going to be gluing a crystal there. And then I'm going to go 1 inch down for my next crystal. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to take our E6000 and just put a dab where all those little dots are at, as well as in the loop. So we don't want very much. We'll probably still have to clean some off. Well, this one's sending out some runners, but actually the runners are the easiest thing to pull off if you need to pull something off, so that's not a big deal. So now I'm going to close my E6000 back up. We'll take those tweezers I had earlier, pick up our crystals, and put them in place. Now, there it is. I was going to say, I think I lost one, but I just knocked it over there. So the first one we can put on, since I put this glue on first, is the little one right here. And then the first of our two big ones, and then our smaller one. Now we'll go put the other two on as well. And there we go. Now we are going to have to push these down some because I just dabbed them on there so they'd stick. And then as they dry a bit, we'll have to pull off the runners and any excess glue. So now we need to let these guys dry for a while. So there is what it's going to look like. It needs to dry, and then we'll pull off the extra glue and it will be finished. And Rory says hi. So we're going to set this aside and we'll let it dry for about 15-20 minutes. Then we'll be back to clean up any messes, and then we will be done. So here we go. She's all, well, she's not all dry, but she's drier than she was. We have a few little places, like here's a runner. A lot of these you can get off with your fingers. You don't have to get the tweezers out. There's a little runner right here. Let's see if I can get it without the tweezers since it's going to the crystal. There's a little one up on top here. There we go. Looks like we have a little one down the side of this one too. Oh, there's another one right there. Missed seeing that one. There we go. Okay. This little guy looks pretty good. This looks like there's just a touch right here on the edge. I'm just going to do the same with what I did with the big one and just sort of slide it right to the edge of the crystal so it's right beside it. Okay. Oh, there's another one over here again. This side likes them a lot, obviously. So there we go. She's all finished. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, one thing you can do is put a little more glue right here so that it would make sure it holds it better. See, there's a tiny gap right here. You could try and fill that in with a little glue too, though. If you do that, you're going to need to do it from the back because you don't want to try it from the front. But there we go, all done. We're going to put her on the head, and then I will show it to you. There we go. Isn't that pretty? So that's how it looks like when it's on. Has the two little crystals here on the sides, the big one with the crystal up top, and then two more on this side. So there she goes, all finished. Now, if you're wondering, the flat wire comes from Beadalon, and the crystals, well, I will admit these are from that famous Austrian company, the flatbacks. I still have some left. And then this beautiful piece, it was from Hobby Lobby. It came with another one just like it. I think she's wearing this a little crooked here. Here we go. And then they also have two blue ones that come with the same one. I don't know if you can still get them, but there they are. I was debating making one of these with one of the blue crystals also, but I don't know because I have some other little crystals that I was thinking of using to make another one. This little guy, isn't he pretty? Sort of reminds me of Princess Diana's engagement ring. So anyway, I really like that, so I probably will make that one into another one of these, but with, of course, dark blue stones, crystals to go with that. And I don't think I'll use the little loops like I did with this. I think I will cut them off and sand them down if I do that one. So there we go. There is this beautiful circlet that I made using our Beadalon wire and some crystals. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. We'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed making this with me. And I know there were a few times I was off screen, and I apologize for that. We'll see you later.